There it is. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Laura Bulow here today with Sue Horowitz. I am a career transition coach, typically working with creative individuals on life coaching and or small business development. I run an annual event called the September Challenge, which in a nutshell is a daily habit, a community action, and a cardio plunge 30-day challenge. And for that reason, I'm doing interviews this month of September challengers who want to share their journey. So here I am today with Sue. She is a coach as well, and I'm going to let her tell you all about what she does. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Laura. It's good to see you. Sorry, I've got this cat who keeps patting me and wants some attention. So if you see me go like this, it's Una. I, like you, am a life transitions and divorce coach. So I work with women, normally older women, who either have initiated or are dealing with an unwanted divorce. And my role is to help them find inspiration to go forward and turn their story of divorce into the business of divorce so that they can change their life with some grace and ease and hope for a new and more exciting life on the other side of divorce and cope with all the various stages of transition. So that's what I do.
Excellent. All right, so I'm going to ask you an icebreaker question, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the September challenge and how you're doing that before we dive deeper into your business.
Okay.
All right, so as far as an icebreaker question, what's one thing not a lot of people know about you?
Well, one thing most people don't know about me is that I am a Pilates fan, and that when I started my transition from owning another business to this coaching business, I was pretty nervous about whether or not I'd ever be able to afford to do Pilates again. And I became a Pilates instructor in the process.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's one way to, make sure your transition financially is going to work is, okay, train yourself how to train yourself. So
love that. Okay, great. Actually, this is a great segue into September Challenge type of things. What inspired you to join us in the September Challenge?
Well, a couple of things, actually. One is that as a divorce coach, it's really important for me to stay energized and upbeat and in the moment. And what I like about the structure of this challenge is that it focuses on something I can do each day, as well as the social aspect of community and being involved. And we can talk about the plunge later because I'm still a little confused about the plunge, but I'm doing it. And so it just helps me stay present and fresh and, in kind of allowing myself to be coached mode. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks for sharing. All right, so here we get to tie it in even a little bit more with your Pilates instruction. What is your daily habit and how did you pick it?
Okay, so in addition to being a coach, I also help care for my 91-year-old mom. And as a result, I've gotten away from doing as much Pilates as I've wanted to, and I chose for my daily habit doing the hundreds. And the hundreds is a combination of cardio, core strengthening, and increasing your flexibility. And it takes maybe a minute to 2 minutes to get into it. And what I find is by doing that, I'm doing more Pilates. So I walk a lot, and that helps me, stay in shape, burn calories, because coaching can be sedentary as well as caretaking can be sedentary. So these are the things I'm doing to stay in shape and energized, really. And I know you
Excellent.
understand the references to energy being an energy
Yes.
coach. So,
True IPEC reference.
mhm.
Um, yeah, absolutely. And so many people do focus on, I mean, I feel like the whole thing is around some element of health, all of the September challenge, but that, a lot of people, I get a lot of people who are like, I want to write. And then I get a lot of people who are like, I want to focus on a fitness thing. So those are quite popular. What would you say has been the most fun or interesting thing about the September challenge so far?
Getting wet. And it's like, for all the years I lived in California, and have a best friend with a pool, I don't think I ever jumped in the pool. I don't really like getting my head wet, or I don't care about water. I like being near the ocean, but it's not about my being wet or in the ocean. And so that has been kind of a challenge for me. And it was, the first day in the shower, I was kind of turning down the heat. I knew I wanted to feel the water. And as I've spent more time than I have in a while in the shower experimenting with this, I'm beginning to see how good going from a really nice hot shower into kind of a cold plunge feels. And I think it's probably helping my resilience a little bit, because at first, if I could stay there for 2 seconds, that was a lot, and I'm pretty sure I'm up to at least 10 or 12 at this point.
It's very invigorating.
It is invigorating. It is.
I hear it does wonders for circulation.
Mhm. Yeah, and that can't hurt. So
Yeah. All right. What's the next question here? Well, what are you most proud of so far in 2021?
oh, wow. Well, 2021 has had a number of challenges, many of the same that we had in 2020. But I am really pleased with how my coaching practice is beginning to develop, and the things that I'm working on right now for the business. I'm rolling out a beta course in the next couple of weeks for people who want to design their divorce, basically. Um, and I think that, we've talked, my mom is an antique jewelry dealer. And at 91, she's really slowing down the practice of, in the business. So I've been converting what she's done to Instagram and photographing things and categorizing things for her, and playing a larger role in her business as well. So that I've always resisted doing that, but it's actually been fun and quite creative
Hmm.
to work with beautiful jewels. So it's fun.
Yeah. I love how you're like, she's at 91, she's slowing down. I'm
Thank
like,
God.
geez. I know, part of me hopes I
Yeah.
can say that with like in my 90s. Like, well, I
Yeah.
think maybe I'll start slowing down the business now.
Yeah. I mean, and really, she came to that decision on her own, and she said, I'd like you to take more of a role in this. And I'm delighted to be able to do this for her. And but it was funny because as a younger person growing up, she was always doing her business, and I was at times kind of resentful And so I'd say, I never want to own anything that's old. I don't care about old jewelry or any of that. So now here I am in the thick of it. So, you know, we change.
Yes, yes. And yeah, I'm like, thank God we do too.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So,
Well, tell us more about what you would like to share with the September challengers and the world at large. Tell us about your product and your services and your business.
okay. So most people don't know anything about divorce until they're in it on their own, or they know what they know from their friends who've all experienced it and things like that. And what you don't know will come back to haunt you. And divorce does not have to be hostile or expensive or detrimental to you or children or whatever. It can be, when you shift your thinking to look at the actual process of divorce as almost a business situation where you're making decisions based on having a variety of options and consulting with experts in different areas. Um, it can be very different than the experience I had, or most of the women that I know who've been divorced have had. Um, and you don't have to be ruined or sad for year after year. And divorce for women does take a long time to get through. I mean, the average female experiences divorce anxiety and transition for about 7 years. And it doesn't need to be that way. You can, especially in later life divorces, I know for myself, um, I was feeling at my very best turning 60 years of age, and I didn't want to lose that because my spouse made a change. Um, and so one of my personal goals was I want to get through this and be at my best on the other side. And fortunately, I knew a lot of coaches while I was going through my divorce and had a tremendous support network. Uh, but what I've learned through my divorce coaching education and working with a number of women is you'll actually spend less money, heal faster, and get right size more quickly if you work with a group of professionals. So for me, I usually refer my clients to financial experts and mediators as well as attorneys so that they can, as I said, design their divorce that's going to work for them with an eye on where they may want to end up in the future. So we're always focused forward on how they want to feel on the other side of this, and then working, in some ways, working backwards.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, you know, it's really about deciding how you want to feel going through it and at the other end. So
Right.
we spend a lot of time on decision making and how to make good decisions. We spend a good deal of time on learning how to have compassionate communications when you don't feel compassionate. Um, and, you know, giving someone going through divorce freedom without any judgment. You know, certainly I had family that was very supportive of me, but you know, they have skin in the game. You know, they would say most anything to protect me at that point in time. And I knew that the divorce didn't have anything to do with any of my um, family of origin issues. I mean, you know, I learned very quickly that divorce had something to do with him and his family of origin issues. So I wasn't motivated at that point in time for therapy, but for some women, if they've been in an abusive marriage, or whether it's financial or emotional abuse, it's it's a good idea for them to seek therapeutic help. And so very often I work with therapists with the client who's dealing with that while I keep her focused on pragmatic issues like creating a budget and, meeting with attorneys and parenting coordinators and people like that. So, um, these were the things I didn't know about in divorce. I didn't know that there were mortgage brokers that work specifically with people who are divorcing to help them either buy a spouse out or be able to buy another property. These things are, you think it's going to be easy. Well, I'll get divorced, I'll go buy another house, and it doesn't necessarily work that way. So that's why I really hone in on the pragmatic business aspects of the divorce. So you've got one too, huh?
I know. I'm like, hey, my oversized cat just snuck in.
What are you gonna
Yes.
do?
Great. Okay, so something that what I was thinking about when you were talking too is, I mean, I imagine based on the nature of the conversations that you're having with people and just the general, I imagine that you really want to create like a lot of trust and privacy around those issues for your clients. So I imagine that the way that you're offering these are typically through a one-to-one coaching package.
Yeah.
Do you do any group work as well?
I haven't yet. I've done group work with kind of a different theme. It's called, well, this year it would be called Break Up with 2021 and Find Your Superpowers. And that's a fun group, it's a small 4-week, shift gears, start to plan for 2021 or 2022. And we do it, believe it or not, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it works out really well because we focus on what's been positive about this year and then are able to have the energy to focus on what we want to improve and move into for 2022. So that's my group program. I have not yet gone into a group divorce program. I'm not opposed to it. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not there yet with it.
And I'm mainly just asking so that, anyone who watches this has like a nuts and bolts image, basically, like what sort of things you offer. I imagine most people would prefer in a divorce situation to work one-on-one, but you never know. I'm sure there's a lot of interesting creative ideas that come up when working in a group.
Well, and you're right. And, there are meetup groups and there are group divorcing programs. What I've been thinking about is adding that into the later stages of divorce where it's more transition work and learning how to accept your new normal. And people can be able to share more. My concern is when people are very raw, which is where you are in the beginning of a divorce. It's best to kind of allow a person that privacy and for me to be focused on that one person.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Well, how can people find out more about you as a person and about everything that you offer?
Okay, I have a website. It's Sue Horowitz Coaching, and it's I spell my last name Horwitz, and they can find me there. And I'm happy to talk to anyone if they're thinking about divorce or getting divorced. I do a 45-minute complimentary session where we'll try and hone in on best solution to at least one of the myriad of situations I'm sure they're facing. That's one way, or they can email me at sue@suehorowitz.com. So.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. And what is it that you desire for the fourth quarter of the year?
Well, a very beautiful and happy and healthy brand new granddaughter. I'll take one of those. And, you know, I think I'd like to see us be able to be free, to have more freedom to go places and do things. And, I hope my business does well. And my mom sells a lot of jewelry.
Those are all excellent things. I know I really hope that I'm getting to that point of being like, okay, this whole COVID restraint is very limiting and very challenging,
Very challenging.
especially as we
So,
head into the winter again. I'm finding myself really dreading it.
yeah, yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so I have a wrap-up question. Um,
Okay.
sim- Similar but different from as far as your desires, but
Okay.
what sort of advice would you give to someone who is looking to live with more integrity?
Oh, wow. To really understand how integrity feels within you. We all have our own definitions of integrity. Um, and I think really understanding that part of yourself, where it comes from, why it's so important, helps you set that intention. But like I said, I find myself working backwards from the feeling of integrity, then back to, okay, what am I able to do to continue to maintain or grow that integrity? Um, that's one of the things I like about the challenge. Like when we were talking about seeing the women with the Save the Children t-shirts at Dulles this weekend and going, oh yeah. Um, I I was so excited to see them, knowing what they're doing to help the refugees. It was really easy to take that excitement and take action on
Mm, love that. Yeah. Yeah, you did sound very inspired and like, oh, I know exactly what I have to do now.
it. Exactly, exactly. So
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing your business and, your stories with us today.
thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate what you've done with the challenge and getting to know you better and getting to know you as a coach, which my hat's off. I really am impressed with the wonderful work you're doing, and thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, sweetie, thanks. Bye.